What's up guys， 欢迎大家回到 Big Dub 的频道，我是 Water。今天决定跟大家聊聊这耗时了几个月，而终于在前几天结束的 XXXTentacion 法庭案件。那在影片开始之前，还是要麻烦各位帮我在此影片点 like、订阅我的频道，你们的支持对我来说就是最大的肯定了。那如果你有在关注我的 Big Dub HipHop News IG 账号的话，那你就会知道 XXXTentacion 的法律案件终于在前几天画下了一个句点。先前我有做了一支影片，讲解了这法庭中的事发经过，重新描述了一次这起案件的所有内容。经历了将近要5年的时间，这饶舌歌手遭人谋杀的审判法庭在2023年的2月正式开始进行。选出了10位陪审团成员之后，法院和双方律师也都从头到尾的描述了这起案件的事发经过。而终于在上个月，也就是今年的3月20号，3位嫌犯包含 Michael Boatwright Dedrick Williams 以及 Trayvon Newsome 等人，他们全都被佛罗里达法庭判处谋杀和持凶抢劫罪名成立。接着在前几天，也就是今年的4月7号，法官也在法庭上宣布，上述3人全都遭判处无期徒刑的严重刑期。不仅如此，惊人的是，就好像连法官自己也知道全世界有多少人正关注着这起案件，或者是说他自己可能也听过 Jay 的音乐作品，并且了解他生涯的所有经过。这法官在法庭上对着3位嫌犯所说出来的话，不仅仅就像是他对他们的迎头痛击，而这结果更是让世人觉得正义或许会迟到，但绝对不会缺席。对于那些不知道的人，在这次案件中，嫌犯 Trayvon Newsome 扮演着那个跟着一起下车持枪抢劫的角色。尽管过程中他并没有开下那致命的一枪，但他还参与了整起抢劫谋杀行动，最终被判处在佛罗里达监狱执行无期徒刑。
Newsome, you sir are a perfect example of why we have in this state a felony murder rule. I'm pretty sure, having sat through the trial, that you did not wake up that morning and say to yourself, I'm going to go kill somebody today, or I'm going to go and hook up with people who will murder someone. But you did go for an armed robbery. And what happens is that when you take a firearm and you rob somebody, you're telling the world, I'm going to take something that doesn't belong to me by force. And I've got deadly force. And I'm willing to use that deadly force and able to achieve my goals. And even if your intent at that moment was only to rob and not to kill, who can say that the death of the victim is not a predictable and foreseeable outcome of arming yourself and confronting the person? That's why we have the felony murder rule. You are a textbook case.
值得一提的是，在这法庭的过程中，出面指控其余3位嫌犯的 Robert Allen 也表示 ，Trayvon Newsome 一度指责他，对着他说他是一名告密者，而法官也在法庭上提起了这件事情。
During the trial, at one point, you lashed out at Robert Allen for being a snitch. I think your anger is misplaced. If you have any anger about what's happening here today and what will happen to you for the rest of your life, beyond the anger that you should have with yourself, perhaps your anger should be directed behind you at your co-defendants, the ones who selected the target in this case, and the one who turned a robbery into a murder. They're the ones that you can thank for your predicament beyond your own actions. Trayvon Newsome, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of the crime of murder in the first degree with a firearm and robbery with a deadly weapon, a firearm. This court now sentences you on count 1 to life in Florida State Prison with a 10-year minimum mandatory and credit for 1,704 days already served. On count 2, I will sentence you to life in Florida State Prison with a 10-year minimum mandatory and credit for 1,704 days already served. The 2 sentences will run concurrent with each other. There are standard court costs of prosecution, which can be reduced to a civil lien. You have 30 days to appeal.
接着，另外一名嫌犯，也就是当天在犯罪现场认出了 Jose 负责开车的 Dedrick Williams。虽说在抢劫过程中他完全没有下车，但法官也特别强调，当天若不是他在犯罪现场认出了 Jose 并执意要对他采取行动，那这起悲剧也完全不会发生。最终，他也被法官判处谋杀和持凶抢劫成立，一样将在佛罗里达监狱执行无期徒刑。
Williams, you are the perfect example of why we have a law of principles in this state. When you engage in criminal acts with others, you bear the responsibility for your collective actions. It was you who picked the target in this case. You went inside Riva Motorsports to confirm the identification and what was there, and then you went back out and sat in the vehicle. Now, while you may not have left the vehicle and you may not have brandished a firearm or fired the fatal shots, you are as guilty as they are because you are an essential part of that crime. Without your actions, it would not have happened.
如果你有在关注此案件，那你就会知道，在这法庭过程中，执法单位还找到了他们在抢劫了 Jose 之后，拿着他的钱在社群媒体上炫富的影片记录。而对此，法官也特别在法庭上指出了他们所做的这些不耻行为，表示这完完全全就是一个完美的例子，证明了他们没有任何对人类基本的怜悯心。
Additionally, I don't look at the way someone behaves in court. Courts, for sentencing purposes, court's a stressful thing. People react to stuff differently. But there are things that I can look at. And I can tell you this court is shocked by your behavior after the murder. A person who had any measure of human decency or remorse for killing someone would not likely be seen dancing around and filming themselves with the stolen money. How proud you were of yourself. You should understand that while you were dancing on that bed, throwing down those bills, you weren't throwing money down on the floor. You should think of that as you tossing down the days, weeks, and months of your life, just like that. Like so many pieces of paper. And the very next day when you went to spend that blood money on sneakers and jerseys, you revealed to the court the value you place on the human life that was taken. Just a pair of sneakers to you. Dedrick Williams, a jury of your peers having found you guilty of murder in the first degree and robbery with a firearm as a principal. As to count one, this court will find you guilty, adjudicate you to be guilty, sentence you to life in Florida State Prison, with credit for 1,752 days already served. Count two, I sentence you to life in Florida State Prison, with credit for 1,752 days already served. Two counts will run concurrent with each other. There are standard court costs of prosecution. I will reduce those to civil lien. Both you and Mr. Newsome should understand that life sentences are necessarily life without possibility of parole because we do not have parole in Florida.
最后，也就在此案件中动下了杀机，且事后毫无悔意的那位嫌犯 Michael Boatwright。相信各位都清楚，在这法庭经过当中 ，Michael Boatwright 不只是从头到尾都表现出一个轻佻的态度，同时他更是时不时的对着镜头以及其他人做出抛媚眼以及亲嘴的动作。而或许就是因为他就是此案件中最有罪的那号人物，你绝对不会相信法官接下来对他说了什么。在宣判他的刑期之前，此案法官用了一个非常冷血的方式形容了他的余生接下来的面貌。有趣的是，他还在这里提到了美国知名的老鹰乐团的经典单曲 Hotel California 之中的歌词，嘲讽了他们三人，表示就是他们所做的愚蠢行为，引领了他们走向这条没有回头的路，也就是终身不得获得保释的终身监禁。
Mr. Boatwright, you turned a robbery into a murder. And on that day, when you stood there and fired that weapon, you didn't just end one life. You effectively ended 5 lives, including your own. Like I just said, you need to understand that when we say life in Florida State Prison, that means life. It is necessarily without parole, Florida abolished parole. You know, as the song says, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. You will spend the rest of your life in prison. From here, you will go and be placed in a cell that has a stainless steel slab that's attached to the wall. That's your bed. And next to it is a stainless steel sink and a stainless steel toilet. That's the furniture that you have in that cell. You'll spend every hour and every day and every week and every year of your life in that cell. And one day, they'll come and open up that cell in the morning and you'll have passed on. And only on that day will you have served your sentence. A jury of your peers having found you guilty of murder in the first degree with a firearm and having discharged that firearm and having that firearm discharge result in the death of Chasse Onfroy, this court will sentence you to life in Florida State Prison with credit for 1,732 days already served. As to count 2 for the robbery with a firearm, which was discharged and causing death, this court will sentence you to life in Florida State Prison, credit for 1,732 days already served. Both counts carry with them a 25-year minimum mandatory.
那其实看完了这个影片，我自己有一个点很好奇，所以也在想有没有懂法律的观众可以替我回答一下。法官在庭上说他终身不得保释，但却还是在后面说出了25年的强制执行。如果已经确定终身不得保释的话，那这个25年的强制执行结束后又代表了什么？如果你知道原因的话，也欢迎在底下留言告诉我。经历了将近5年的时间，这 X 的案件也终于画下了一个句点，而这审判的结果或许也可以让许多喜欢 X 的粉丝获得了一个心安的理由。回顾 XXXTentacion 短暂的职业生涯，尽管是短时间内他制造了非常多的争议问题和纷争，但我想我们任何人都无法否定他作为一名饶舌歌手对于这嘻哈产业的影响。其中不只是他毫无保留的用自己的人生经历去鼓励和支持所有喜欢他的粉丝，同时他在音乐上所做出的突破更是着实的影响了下一个世代的嘻哈听众。无论你对于Chasse有什么样的看法，我想他永远都被归类在那嘻哈产业中的传奇人物当中。说到这边，我也很好奇各位对于这法官冷血的判刑宣言又有什么看法？其中你们觉得无期徒刑已经是此案件中最棒的结果了吗？欢迎在底下留言，我们来做个讨论。那此频道以后都会由我 Water 来讲解一些我个人有兴趣的内容，所以如果你喜欢我的影片的话，再麻烦你帮我按赞、订阅、分享了。同时各位记得去 Instagram 追踪我的个人账号，我是 Water， 我们下次见 ，Peace out。